Hello everybody, and welcome to a War Thunder patch 1.47 episode. Yes, it is that time of year when we get new patches, and they have launched the patch information or patch build-up with the release or in development dev blog of the mouse, or Panzerkampfwagen 8 mouse, the Mighty Mouse as I call it. This was a huge tank. As you can see here, there's a little comparison down here. It's that's a T-34 and it just dwarfs over it. It gives little. We don't get that much information in the dev blog, unfortunately. It's mainly about the development of the tank. Unfortunately, there are some little snippets like about rubber membrane sealing the tank because it wasn't meant to cross bridges. It was meant to go underwater. About the grenade launcher that's on it. I don't know if we get to use that. We also get some possible information on the battle rating or where it will be. It says that it will expand the range of the top ground vehicles in the German tree. Now, I don't know if that means there'll be more in the high end of the German tree, or if it means it's going to be going beyond the Tiger II, which it ends at the moment. But anyway, we'll quickly move on. I'll give you some more information on the tank, hopefully, and possibly where it will be in the tech tree. Now, a little disclaimer before I actually get started. I don't have many books on the mouse, unfortunately, so we'll have to rely a little bit on internet sources for this. I do apologise. I have ordered in some books, but I haven't got any that deal with the mouse in my possession as of this moment. But when I do, I will try and give more accurate information. The other thing, the mouse was a real tank. I know there's probably some people who think it was actually just one of those crazy designs by the Germans, but as you saw from that picture, that is in the Kubinka tank museum in Russia. There was actually two prototypes, one with a turret and one without, if I'm not mistaken. The one with the turret was actually blown up at the end of the war. It destroyed the hull, but the turret survived, and from what I understand, they've just got the two prototypes, shoved the turret on the one without a turret, and, voila. You can see it's pretty big. You saw the T-34 comparison earlier, then you saw the picture of the man. And this has a huge old gun. It had a 128mm main armament, and secondary armament of a 75mm gun. That is currently, I think it's the one that was in the Panzer IV, the short-barreled variant. So, yeah, they just completely skipped the coaxial machine gun and just went for the death-defying howitzer-type weapon. As well as having an insane amount of armament, it also has an insane amount of armour. You can see some pictures here, I presume from when the Russians tested it. I assume they put it on a firing range or something to see how the armour stood up. The thinnest armour is on the whole side and rear, at 190mm of armour. The thickest bit is about 460mm, or 18 inches, in the area around the mantlet. The turret front is 240. The whole front something like 200mm. It's just an insane amount of armour. Unfortunately, this does come at a price. It only does something like 8 miles an hour. So it's going to be very, 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 very ridiculously slow. There's a reason this wasn't particularly practical. Like I was saying earlier, it wasn't actually meant to cross bridges. It was meant to go under the rivers and stuff. Like you'd have one mouse on one side providing power to another mouse, and that mouse would then go underwater and use a snorkel. It's just insane. It's just it was an insane thing in real life. In War Thunder, it should do quite well, because most of the problems it had, excessive fuel efficiency and speed, shouldn't be that much of a problem. Well, the speed might be a bit of a problem, but the fuel efficiency shouldn't be. The other thing is it's extremely tall and long and wide, so it won't be exactly hard to conceal. So, sum it up, good point, very good gun, and secondary armament, plus I think a machine gun and possibly the grenade launcher. Very good armour, very thick armour, and some of it's sloped, so it might actually be thicker than, effective thickness may actually be better. Downside, speed be the main thing. So, people will be able to outflank you pretty quickly. I don't know what the turret traverse is like, but if it's, quite slow, then it would be easy for enemies to flank you. I mean, it doesn't matter how good your armour and gun is, if you're flanked by about 5 IS-4s, then the rest of your team isn't able to help unless they actually distract the rest of they avoid going after the rest of your team, in which case they can deal with the IS-4s, but that really depends on the team and the tactics of the IS-4. Not really sure what other weaknesses it could have. I suppose it'll be a huge target for aircraft. I mean, it's a lot bigger than most tanks, and well, it's not going to be able to dodge many attacks effectively, is it? Now, before we end the video, we're just going to pop over to the actual game itself. So hopefully we'll be able to see where it will be in the tech tree, or it'll be tier 5 at least, but maybe a little indication on what battle rating it will be, or what tanks it will face. Now, here is the German tier 5 tanks. Jagdtiger, Tiger II, Panthers, blah blah blah. Jagdtiger is what we want to look at because that has the same gun as the Maus, the 128mm gun. Now, if we look at the penetration, stock penetration, 240mm to 167, so we've got to remember those numbers. Could go up to 255 though, if you get the advanced ammo. So 255 is the maximum it could be going against. If we go over to the Russian tree, IS-4, 250mm thickest armour, T-54, 200. So with stock ammo, it's going to be struggling quite a bit against IS-4s. It can deal with them if you aim for the hull, but for some of the turret shots, it's either impossible or you're going to have to get in quite close. And this isn't taken into account the sloping of the armour, so it should be able to handle the T-54s, but this seems like more of an answer for the IS-4Ms. Which I've heard quite a lot of complaints about German players who end up going against these and basically not being able to deal with them in any way whatsoever. And so it's understandable that they would have to bring some sort of answer out for their IS-4s. The Americans haven't got so much. There's not much of a problem with American tanks because they've got thinner armour. Although the M103 also has a shell that should be able to penetrate the Maus, 380mm. So, while I don't have to worry about some of the shots from the M103, this does seem like it would be a good match against the IS-4s and T-54s, or a better match than what is already in the game at the moment. What would it be? It would be after the Tiger II. It would be on this line, I'm assuming. I also think it will be a battle rating of 8 or 7.7. 8 is what the IS-4 is. 7.7 possibly because it may struggle to penetrate the IS-4, but then the IS-4 might struggle to penetrate the Maus. If we see here, the Maus might struggle a little bit. The IS-4 might struggle against the Maus a little bit, so probably even against these tanks, both struggling to penetrate each other. But yeah, I think it'll be after the Tiger II, battle rating 8 or 7.7. Where's the T-54? That's a battle rating of 8, so it'd be 8 or 7.7. Sorry if it's been a bit long-winded, the video. Thanks for sticking through it. Thanks for watching the video. I will do some more patch-type videos when we get more information. I'll keep you appraised of any developments. If you like the video, leave a like. Subscribe if you like these sorts of videos. Leave feedback, could always do with more feedback. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.